It's Western New York's workout, the Buffalo Athletic Club. Join us. Let the new year bring a new you. We're celebrating the new year by offering 3 months for $99. That's right. Act now on this limited offer and get 3 months for $99 from the premier health and fitness facilities in Western New York. Make a new you resolution today. Join the club. Why wait? Certain restrictions apply. Work it. It's Western New York's workout, the Buffalo Athletic Club. Hurry. Offer ends January 31st.
Hey, Bills fans, can't get enough of your favorite team? Then subscribe to Shout, the weekly newspaper for Bills fans. Each weekly issue features exclusive stories, color photographs, and more. Order now by calling 1-800-264-2640. Shout is available for a low introductory price of just $29.95 for 28 explosive issues. That's almost 50% off the newsstand price. For all Bills all the time, it's Shout.
Patio furniture. Gary's got it. Gas grills. Gary's got it. Swimming pools. Gary's got it. Hot tubs. Gary's got it.
The largest selection of pools? Gary's got it. Top names like Vogue and Esther Williams, starting from $388. Always the lowest price.
Gary's got it.
You got the right one, baby. You know, I just love this new Diet Pepsi song, but do you think it's caught on yet?
You got the right one, baby. You got the right one, baby. Diet Pepsi.
You got the right one, baby.
With 100% NutraSweet.
Of the games of the 25th Olympiad.
For the second year in a row, Rich Stadium just outside Buffalo will play host to the AFC Championship. The fans here in Buffalo remember the 2 AFL titles in the mid-60s, but they also know that since they started playing Super Bowls, Buffalo has never won the whole thing. This is a town starving for a champion, and today the Bills look to advance to football's biggest game with a win in front of their home crowd. It's the AFC Championship game as the last 2 conference champions, the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos, meet with a berth in Super Bowl 26 at stake. The weather in Buffalo is surprisingly mild, 40 degrees. The wind doesn't appear to be very strong, although it is swirling just a bit. Before game time, James Lofton arriving, coming back off the foot injury, caught a touchdown pass last week. Great Bills veteran. Old Alabama teammates Cornelius Bennett of the Bills and Bobby Humphrey of the Broncos file in. Bronco coach Dan Reeves, 7 Super Bowl appearances as player and coach with the Cowboys and Broncos. If he gets there again, it might be on the arm of another Elway miracle. And there's Jim Kelly, his Bills favored by 11.5. Hi, everybody. Bob Costas, along with Bill Parcells, will be joined in just a moment by Will McDonough and O.J. Simpson. Well, since we're in Buffalo, Albany is fairly close by. You could scoot on over and compare notes with Mario Cuomo, another individual much coveted, but staying in his present position. You and he have each played Hamlet for a while and then decided that no move is the best move.
Well, you have a little warped sense of humor, Bob, but I'm glad it's over with. You know, Tampa Bay has a fine coach, Sam Wyche, and I wish them well, and I know in my heart that it would have never really worked out with me, so I wish them well, and I think he'll do a good job for him down there.
So your mind now is clear to analyze today's game.
And I'm looking forward to that. This ought to be an exciting game.
Okay, now remember, a couple of games ago here, Denver did beat Buffalo. Last year, they lose 29-28 in a game they should have won. They had a big lead. A lot of people don't give them any chance today. Do you?
Oh, I give Denver a pretty good chance. I think that the main thing there, though, is the Denver defense is going to have to keep up with the Buffalo offense, particularly early in the game. You know, Buffalo runs the hurry up. Everyone knows that. Well, you know, you have to hurry up on defense, too. And the way you do that is try to keep your players reasonably stationary while Kelly's calling the plays. You want to be in a relaxed atmosphere on defense. Mecklenburg Noyes will probably handle the front line calls. Dennis Smith will probably handle the back secondary calls, either with signals or verbal communication when possible, but the noise will be a factor here. But Denver just has to stay steady early, play a simple basic package, and try to hang on early in the game so Buffalo doesn't sprint to the front.
Okay, we'll get more comments from Bill in a moment, but first, we'll check in with our sideline reporters. O.J. Simpson is with the Bills and Will McDonough, who's with the Broncos. And we start with the Juice.
Well, Bob, one of the big concerns for Buffalo fans is the condition of defensive end Bruce Smith. Now, Bruce won't be 100%, but I think simply because he's on the football field, psychologically, he makes this defense 20% better. Now, a couple of hours ago, I was able to catch up with Bruce as he arrived at the stadium and asked him if they had anything special planned for John Elway. You guys got anything special for Elway?
Yeah, hopefully we're going to be able to contain him. You know, you can't stop him. You just have to contain him.
So the point is to try to keep him in the middle of the field and not let him get outside.
Exactly. That's when he makes big plays, and he's a very dangerous player. So we're going to have to keep a lid on him.
But you're ready for it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Bruce. What they're going to try to do defensively, I talked to Coach Chuck Dickerson, is they're going to bull rush in obvious pass situations. They're inside guys. They're not going to take lanes. They say Elway is too good at picking his way through. They're going to hope that their outside guys can get around and eventually get to Elway. Now, they won't have a fast pass rush because of that. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the secondary, but they want Elway to be a one-dimensional quarterback, keep him in the pocket, not let him beat him running the football. That's the plan on the Bills sidelines. Will McDonough, what's happening over there on the Broncos side of the field?
Well, O.J., I talked to Coach Dan Reeves earlier. You know, last night the Denver Broncos activated their fine veteran wide receiver, Mark Jackson. He could be a big factor here today. And I talked about it with Dan earlier, and here is his response.
Well, of course, Will, we feel like he'll help us. You know, he was our leading receiver at the time he got hurt, and certainly was unexpected to have him for this ball game because we really thought he was out for the year. But he had a good week of practice. If he catches the ball well, I know he'll get open. Hopefully he'll catch the ball well, and he did during the week. So we'll put him in there, and he'll play a lot.
A little bit of wind in here today, Dan. How do you think will affect the game?
Well, I don't think it's going to be a big factor unless it starts blowing a lot harder than it is right now. Certainly they have the advantage of knowing how it swirls in this stadium, and it might, you know, help Norwood a little bit more than it'll help Treadwell. But I think we got a great day for football, and I don't think the weather's going to be a big factor.
Well, I think Dan Reeves is right. I watched both teams warm up here today, the kickers and the passers. None of them had any trouble. And I talked to Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator of the Broncos, and he said John Elway has been throwing the ball all week and is ready to play today. Back to you, Bob.
Okay, Willie, now with the 80,000 fans here in Rich Stadium, noise could be a factor. There were several procedure penalties last week when the Chiefs were here, so the Broncos spent part of the time this week preparing for the audio onslaught. In their practice bubble, they installed large speakers and hooked up a sound system that they hope simulates the conditions here at Rich Stadium.
I think the more you can practice and simulate game-like conditions, you know, the better you're going to be.
You know, I shortchanged Reeves a moment ago. He's actually been to 8 Super Bowls as player, assistant coach with Dallas, and head coach with the Broncos. Now, being an old Dallas guy, he likes to use that shotgun, and that's especially a problem if it's noisy as heck here.
Well, besides simulating, I know we used to do the same thing at practice, try to pump that crowd noise in there, but there are other things they'll have to do. The tackles might have to tilt in and look at the ball. They might have to have their center call the snap count, or they might have to use what they call a silent snap count with a one-word indicator, 1001, 1002, then snap the ball. Now, if worse comes to worse, though, Bob, Elway's going to go up under and take the snap there, and they'll get out of the shotgun.
Okay, another thing to watch is the Denver snapping on field goals and extra points. Last week, on the game-winning kick, it took an excellent play by holder Gary Kubiak to place the ball for David Treadwell after a bad snap. Kubiak announced his retirement last week, so this could be his last game after 9 seasons with the Broncos. Now, Bill, Keith Karts, who snapped on the Treadwell attempt that won the game, is bothered by a thigh injury, so that's something to be mindful of.
Yeah, but I don't really think it should affect his snapping. He should be able to snap on the short snaps for the kicks, and Dave Waddell's going to snap for the punts. The big thing is, Karts is their starting center. If I were Dan Reeves, I'd be more worried about not having my starting center in there to block Jeff Wright than I would be snapping on those extra points.
I was watching Karts in practice snapping on field goals. Last week week, he was low. Everything that I saw, and I watched several, was high and up, and Kubiak had to reach for it. We don't know if that'll be a factor in the game, but something to watch. Give us a couple of things to look for as far as Denver defensively against Buffalo. Remember, they won last week, but Warren Moon carved them up.
Well, I think the big thing here is you really can't do too much blitzing against Buffalo. Last week, you see here, Thurman Thomas, Keith McKellar, responsible for the two Kansas City linebackers as they're coming up to blitz, which makes the safeties come up and cover those receivers, McKellar and Thomas, respectively. That then allows Andre Reed one-on-one with J.C. Pearson on the post. He gets under it easily, and Kelly throws a ball almost underthrown. Reed had to wait for it, but that's what happens when you blitz Buffalo. Now, on the other side, Buffalo's got a little bit of different problem. Houston in the key fourth down play, 4th and 10 last week, 5 underneath zones, 2 deep, had the Bronco offense covered temporarily, just like you see here, which forced Elway to scramble up. Okay, he did. Now it's a helter-skelter. The key mistake is made by the Houston corner, Richard Johnson, who leaves his coverage before Elway crosses the line, comes up to try to contain Elway. Elway then lobs it to Vance Johnson. The key play in the game sets up the field goal.
So the key for these defensive backs is don't come up till you're sure he's past the line of scrimmage, right?
Well, that's right. But in Johnson's defense, there was a key 4th and 6. Elway had scrambled for the first down. He's probably thinking about that, trying not to let it happen again.
Can you sense the atmosphere here at Rich Stadium, folks? 80,000 crazy people ready for kickoff. When we come back, we'll take a look at how Jim Kelly, that's Leonard Smith, the defensive back veteran of Buffalo. We'll see how Jim Kelly spends the morning of a big game as O.J. joins him and his family.
To drive by Interstate Batteries, now serving you with over 200,000 dealers across the U.S. and Canada. And by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, and with Alamo, all those miles are free.
Making a sports card seems mandatory to mention how fast it can go. Instead, why not mention the things you shouldn't mention about a sports car? A strong weld, over 24 safety features, all-wheel drive, engineering that endures. Still, if it's speed you want, we promise. With the Subaru SVX, you'll easily be able to go as fast as the law allows. Subaru, what to drive.
Gone. But it isn't.
Introducing an incredible Vicks cough drop like you've never known before.
It's gone, but it's still working.
A cough drop so powerful, it keeps on working even after it's gone.
It's still working.
All new Extra Strength Vicks. Extra strength with twice the Vicks vapor medicine to relieve your cough and help your scratchy throat and stuffy nose feel better. So try new Extra Strength Vicks. Extra strong to work even after the drop is gone.
It's still working.
For all those who believe in their inalienable right to choose, this summer we present the Olympics Triple Cast. 3 cable channels for 15 days, 24 hours a day. Call now, and you could win a trip to this year's Super Bowl. 1 call per family. Subscribe to the Gold Package and get an official NFL Super Bowl program free. The Olympics Triple Cast, a whole new way to see the games.
Alka-Seltzer Plus goes to the Arctic Circle, where the toughest colds live.
Alka-Seltzer Plus takes care of the aches, the runny nose. Alka-Seltzer Plus has done exactly what I've needed it to do. It does the job.
Alka-Seltzer Plus, tough medicine for tough winter colds.
I have Denorex on this side. As soon as I put Denorex on my hair, I felt like the itch was going away. The tingle feels like it's taken away the dandruff.
Denorex with conditioners, the dandruff shampoo you can feel working.
I have no dandruff, and I have no itch.
Today's starting quarterbacks, the Broncos, John Elway, and the Bills, Jim Kelly. They were 2 of the 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round of the 1983 draft. Elway was traded from the Colts to the Broncos. Kelly played in the USFL before putting a Bills uniform on in 1986. Now, Kelly just completed the best season of his career, finishing as the #1 rated quarterback in the AFC. 4 of his 5 brothers played football in college, and 1 of them played in the NFL. So game day here in Buffalo is a family affair at the Kelly household. O.J. spent last Sunday with the Kelly clan.
The day starts early for the Kelly family as 40 or 50 of Jim's friends gather at his home for the trip to Rich Stadium.
Okay. We pretty full in here. Can we use something there?
Chili is undefeated every time we serve it in a game. We win, so we keep serving it. Let's go, Broncos! Go win today!
Oh, I just pray to God we win. Since we all Jim has a good game.
You got this big family, and the family seem to be so close. Normally, there's somebody responsible, and normally it's the mother. How much influence did your mother, Alice, have on this family?
Well, she's the greatest. We all think, and that's counting the brothers and my father, that she should be a saint. She has emphysema, and 2 years ago, I was able to get a box at Rich Stadium. Now my mother was able to come because she's on oxygen, and if it wasn't for my mother and father, you know, it'd be I guess, difficult to have the closest family as we do.
There's gotta be a record of you someplace. You gotta be on somebody's books. The low-down picture of your face, your injured looks, and it's your face I'm looking for on every street.
Kelly may be the only NFL player that rides home with his mother and father after every game. Then he throws a party that's open to his family, friends, and all his teammates.
My brothers seemed to follow me wherever I went just to make sure that their brother was taken care of, and it made it all worth it. You know, coming to the Rich Stadium, having the people and the support that we have there, you know, you look back at not only the family, but my friends that sharing it too. It makes it that much more enjoyable when I come out after a game at Rich Stadium and see the family right there.
Well, here I am in the Kelly family suite here at Rich Stadium with St. Alice and his father, Joe. Now, I know Jim's been in a lot of big games. Do you ever notice any difference in the morning? Is there any pressure? Does he show any more pressure?
I think every game that he's been in is a tough game, and he takes it at stride.
What about you?
Me, I got butterflies always.
Me too.
Well, one thing for sure, no matter what happens down on the football field, by the love that you see in this suite and in his home, and the time that I've spent with Jim this week, he's a winner no matter what happens. Bobby?
All right, Juice, quick thought on Jim Kelly?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, some quarterbacks play the position and others know how to play the game. Jim Kelly's matured to the point where he really knows how to play the game.
We're going to step aside for just a moment. And up next, Will McDonough will rejoin us with news on the coaching front, of course. There's Bills outside linebacker Cornelius Bennett, who had a big hand in last week's win over the Chiefs. Bills a step from the Super Bowl, as are the Broncs.
It's almost as if someone once said, just in case people like sunshine and fun and water, we'd better make Florida. And we'd better make miles of beautiful beaches, just in case people want to go to them. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, all across America. And nationwide, Alamo's the only company that can give you all those miles for free, including the 100,000 miles of sunshine on a road in Florida that runs from coast to coast to coast.
To me, there's nothing better than winning a Super Bowl or a NASCAR race. That's why when my race team hits the circuit, there'll be an interstate battery cranking it up. Interstate's my kind of battery because it's got the power and stamina it takes to be a winner. So insist on an Interstate battery from over 200,000 automotive service, repair, and parts centers everywhere. Call 1-800-CRANK-IT for the one nearest you. You win every time with Interstate.
George, it's Mother. I know you're sick. Look by your bed. That's the #1 cough medicine. Take it and call me in the morning.
Thanks, Mom. But this cold is massive. I need NyQuil. With your cough medicine, I'd still be up tonight, sneezing and aching. And, Mom, I gotta rest, because tomorrow I'm eloping. Good night.
Vicks NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. Also available in new liquid caps.
It's a fact. Jim Doyle Ford increased sales 15% last year, while most car dealers experienced declining sales. Fact, Jim Doyle's been awarded the Ford Distinguished Service Award. That means quality service for you.
Here at Jim Doyle Ford, we must be doing something right. Sales are up, we have an award-winning service department, and now we want the opportunity to earn your business, and that's a fact.
Jim Doyle Ford, Delaware Avenue, Kenmore, home of the Doyle deal. That's a fact.
When the wind really gets going in Buffalo, Rich Stadium can be one of the blusteriest places in the National Football League. As you see, it's relatively calm as we're about 15 minutes from game time now. And Will McDonough has come up from the field to rejoin us here at our perch. Most of the coaching vacancies around the NFL have been filled. Pittsburgh and Indianapolis still looking. Let's start with Green Bay. They get Mike Holmgren from San Francisco, but they said there were some issues to be resolved. Have they resolved them?
Yeah, they have resolved the issues, Bob. As I understand it, the Green Bay Packers are going to give back a second-round draft choice in this coming draft in 1992 to the San Francisco 49ers in return for letting Mike Holmgren go over there and coach.
One of the picks they got in the Tim Harris transaction.
That's right. It's one of the two picks. There was a 2 in 92, a 2 in 93. And another good thing about the situation, I think, in Green Bay is Holmgren might take two of the assistant coaches from San Francisco, Ray Rose and Sherman Lewis, over to Green Bay with him to be coordinators. Now, if this happens, Bob, I believe it will be the first time one team in the National Football League has ever had two black coordinators.
And, of course, traditionally, the coordinator spot is looked upon as one of the primary stepping stones to a head coaching position.
Yeah, and there could be another one in Minnesota. You know, Dennis Green became the second black head coach in the modern era this week, and I think he's thinking about one of these two fellas, and he's also thinking about Tony Dungy, so you could even see 3 black coordinators before the week is over.
Okay, Indianapolis has an incumbent in Rick Venturi. He's still a candidate, but where will they go?
Well, I think really now they have 3 candidates, Bob. You mentioned Rick Venturi. There's also George Perlis of Michigan State, but I think the lead is right here in the ballpark today. Ted Marchibroda, the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills, I believe he will be interviewed this week by the Colts, and I would make him the #1 candidate.
How about Pittsburgh?
Well, Pittsburgh still got the search going on, Bob. As we talked, they got Joe Green in for a second interview, and they got Kevin Gilbride from Houston coming in today, but the 2 leaders there are Dave Wannstedt of Dallas and Bill Cowher of Kansas City. I think they'll pick a coach this week, and I think Wannstedt's the guy to beat.
Now, Atlanta already has a coach. Do they ever? And they're out of the playoffs, so why are they in the news?
Well, they're in the news. I understand the National Football League has fined Atlanta twice, $10,000 each time for having the rap star Hammer on the sidelines in the playoffs. The first time was in New Orleans. The second time was in Dallas. And I think, Bob, what's happening is somebody in the National Football League thinks Hammer is a public enemy and doesn't want him hanging around with that motley crew.
You know, Will, I love it when you mix rap and hip-hop and heavy metal. I didn't realize that you kept up with the trends this way.
Watch the halftime show, Bob. I'm big.
Well, I guess they could have gotten him a ticket in the stands, but they figured he was too legit to sit. I guess we've carried this about as far as any rational human being would like us to. So, we're nearing game time in Buffalo. When we come back, we'll have the player intros. Kickoff only a few moments away for a trip to the Super Bowl.
No matter how good you feel, you can still benefit from whole grain nutrition. But of these leading cereals, only Wheaties is made with 100% whole grain. So no matter what you're shooting for, better get your whole grain.
I better eat my Wheaties.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Regular, sensitive, metal.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
We've added the leading cough suppressant to the proven cold relief of Alka-Seltzer Plus. So now you can relieve your cold and cough together. Introducing Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold and Cough Medicine. 2 kinds of relief from only 1 medicine.
A luxury car says a lot about its owner.
Mine says I'm witty beyond belief.
Mine says I'm more Europeanish.
Mine says I'm the product of superior genes.
A luxury car says
I'm so successful I can go into debt.
I'm much more handsome. Cosmopolitan.
Another pathetic sheep following the herd.
Says a lot. I'm irresistible.
Powerful.
Stylish. Sexy.
Dynamic.
The all-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. All it says is that you bought a great car and you can still pay your mortgage.
Put a luggage cart in a suitcase, and what do you get? Samsonite's Piggyback. It's particularly handy on long trips like the one from your car to the ticket counter.
If I want to keep playing baseball, I'm going to have to keep working. There's no off-season anymore. And when I get sore, I take Advil. To last, you stick with what works.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
The Buffalo Bills coming up the tunnel. In a moment, you'll hear a thunderous roar as they come into the view of the 80,000 here at Rich Stadium. We're just a few moments from the player intros. Bob Costas back with Will McDonough and Bill Parcells. Earlier, we saw Leonard Smith. He was trying to get the crowd psyched up, orchestrating them with the cheers. He stood outside the locker room door and slapped high fives with every Buffalo Bill as they came out, trying to get them psyched up, and here they come. Bill, what does it feel like? The moments before a big game.
Well, I don't care how long you've been in football, Bob. Young, just starting out, old. This kind of atmosphere really gets to you. It just makes you get real excited. And if you can't play football today, then you better get in another line of work.
We'll become spectators along with the rest of you and listen to the public address man as he introduces the Buffalo Bills.
Starting for Buffalo on offense at wide receiver from Stanford, number 80, James Lofton. At left tackle from Vanderbilt, number 69, Will Wolford. The left guard from North Carolina State, number 51, Jim Richard. The center from Mississippi State, number 67, Kent Hull. At right guard from Penn State, number 59, Mitch Perrott. The right tackle from Alabama A&M, number 75, Howard Ballard. The tight end from Jacksonville State, number 84, Keith McKellar. At wide receiver from Kutztown State, number 83, Andre Reed. At quarterback from the University of Miami, number 12, Jim Kelly.
O.J. Simpson, Will McDonough, Bill Parcells, and I will see you at halftime. But up next, Dick Enberg and Bill Walsh have the call of the Bills and the Broncos. The AFC Championship from Rich Stadium after these messages.
It's football time. Your ball, Jim Kelly.
My turn to hurt.
I did it. You can do it.
I can deal with pain, Jimmy.
My doc says ibuprofen for body pain. The medicine in Nuprin.
My trainer, same thing.
So Nupit.
Nupit with Nuprin.
Strong stuff.
Just takes one.
Nupit. Football's not so rough.
At least we wear long pants.
For back, joint, or muscle pain.
Nupit. With Nuprin.
The body pain medicine.
For the battery that performs 3 times better than industry standards, you've got to get to Sears.
Out here, if you don't have a diehard, you don't have a prayer.
Sears diehard. More power when you need it most.
Who's going to back it better than Sears?
When life turns up the heat.
Yeah, hi. I'm Jeff Green.
There's Degree antiperspirant. Degree's body heat activated.
1 more minute.
To release extra protection.
Jeff?
Hi.
Degree, your body heat turns it on.
Tuesday night, Barbara Walters, Jane Pauley, Hugh Downs, and more relive today's greatest moments in the year's biggest primetime birthday bash. Today at 40, Tuesday on NBC.
When Jonathan made his debut into the Harper family, he arrived without any financial surprises. That's because his mom and dad had their health coverage through Independent Health. And while traditional health insurance companies will sometimes surprise you by disallowing parts of your medical bills, Independent Health doesn't work that way. Because we know you don't like surprises. Independent Health. Quality coverage you can depend on.
It's the Dodge Drive for the Gold sales drive. Now own Shadow America for only $69.84, thanks to 1,000 cash back. On Caravan, get 1,000 cash back, and you can get air at no extra charge. Up to $2,000 cash back on select Dodge trucks, and package savings up to $26.83. In soon. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
These days, people are interested in choosing what's right for them. At Key Bank, that's what we've been interested in all along. That's why we offer all of our products and services in a variety of ways, so you can get just what you need, just the way you need it. After all, we've never thought that one solution would work for everyone. We're more interested in offering the one that works best for you. Key Bank, America's neighborhood bank.
They're the heart and mind of the Denver Broncos. John Elway, the quarterback, architect of high drama. Dan Reeves, offspring of the winning tradition in Dallas, where he played and coached, and now the stern taskmaster in Denver. In their 9 years together, Reeves and Elway have authored 3 AFC championships, and they've commiserated in the failures of 3 Super Bowl losses. Who can imagine what passions drive these two who have savored victory and swallowed defeat? Do they fear defeat may be their legacy? After humiliating Super Bowl losses, last season's Broncos fell to last place in a near total collapse. How improbable, then, is their rebound this season, and how impressive the courage and resolve they showed last week in Denver when Elway rallied the Broncos to a last-second win. What nightmares visit Buffalo Scott Norwood, whose one missed kick is the lingering image of Super Bowl 25. He's lived for 12 months with the pain of that memory. But with the support of his teammates, he's aiming today at another AFC championship. What disappointment haunts Thurman Thomas, who had earned the title of Super Bowl MVP, but saw that award and the championship sail wide right. Thomas has proved his all-pro worth in virtually every game since, leading the Bills to the threshold of a Super Bowl return. Elway and Reeves, Norwood and Thomas, all driven to exorcise Super Bowl demons, each yearning for the opportunity that could soothe the hurt of past disappointments. That opportunity is today. The winner plays for another chance to be Super Bowl champion.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the AFC Championship, the Denver Broncos versus the Buffalo Bills.
An unseasonable January day in Buffalo, sunny skies, temperature in the low 40s. Rich Stadium in Orchard Park just south of downtown Buffalo, a noisy and colorful crowd, sell out 80,000 plus to see who will represent the American Football Conference in the Super Bowl. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rich Stadium. Will it be the Denver Broncos for the 4th time in the last 6 years going to the Super Bowl, or will Buffalo earn that immediate encore? We'll know in a moment, but first, the ceremonial coin toss as we go down to the middle of Rich Stadium, where honorary captains today for the Buffalo Bills, O.J. Simpson, the great star of the Bills in the 70s, representing Buffalo, and across the way for the Denver Broncos, one of the outstanding linebackers in the history of this game, and a great star for Denver for so many seasons from Ohio State, Randy Gradishar.
Klobuchar. This same enactment later in Washington, D.C., where Mel Farr will represent the Lions, and Bullet Bill Dudley, who played for both the Redskins and Lions, will be the honorary captain for Washington. And now, will it be Buffalo or Denver with the ball first?
As a visiting team, you will make the call. You're going to make the call. Please call it in the air. Tail, head, tail.
Dale Hamer, the referee.
Heads is the call. Tail. It is a tail. Buffalo, take the ball. Take the turnaround, please.
In his 14th year in the league, Dale Hamer signals it'll be Buffalo with that no-huddle offense that will have the ball first. And we welcome a man who, in his first chance, won a Super Bowl with 40 into the Niners, and he can understand what a second and third and fourth chance must mean. We're happy with all the rumors floating around that we have you for the analysis today of this game, Bill. And when you look at it, what intrigues you most?
Well, first, Denver comes in, Dick, with a fine defense. They've improved dramatically over a year ago. And they also have a person like Sewell who could come up with that third down catch. Elway at his best. A perfect day. But on the other hand, Dick, the Bills offense, that no-huddle offense intrigues me, excites the nation. I think the key, Dick, will be whether the Denver Broncos can move the ball in the first half, possibly get a series of first downs before they have to give it up. If they don't, they'll suffer what Kansas City did a week ago.
Well, they're overwhelming underdogs. The largest spread, as Bob Costas has indicated, in the history of this AFC Championship game, over 11 points. So it's the kind of game where you'd expect for Denver to have a chance. That ball's going to have to be on the ground. We're all guilty of the question in a big game, who might be an improbable hero today? Give us an idea of a couple you're looking at.
Well, James Lofton for the Bills has had a great playoff record and career. He's going to be there, and he's going to be there probably to make the big play sooner or later. And I mentioned Steve Sewell. Now, he'll just be a third down receiver, but believe me, he can make a difference as Elway tries to move his ball in the fourth quarter, hopefully to pull another one out.
And it will be the Buffalo Bills to our left, as Dan Reeves, in his 11th season in Denver. And what a comeback effort that he has orchestrated this year. Marv Levy, at age 63, with an opportunity, he feels, to win that elusive Super Bowl. And the home crowd will be a factor, as it seems to accelerate in importance as you move through the playoff period. Only 4 teams of 20 have won on the road in the championship. Al Edwards of North Carolina State. And he's drilled at the 29-yard line by Randy Robbins of Denver. Jim Kelly, who finished second to his teammate Thurman Thomas for the most valuable player in the NFL. Will Wolford, Jim Richard, Kent Hull. Watch Mitch Farrat. He is the reserve, playing for an injured Parker, and Ballard, a giant, at right tackle. Kelly has Thurman Thomas, and then Don Beebe, James Lofton, Andre Reed, 3 wide receivers in that hurry-up offense. Keith McKellar goes out when they try 4 wide, and Edwards, who just returned the kickoff, replaces him. First play of the game is to James Lofton, off his fingertips, incomplete.
They came out with 4 wide receivers that time and started throwing. Remember, they told us they were going to run.
Simon Fletcher, Ron Holmes, Pro Bowler Carl Mecklenburg, and rookie Kenny Walker on the front 4 as they go to a 4-2-5 alignment against that quick offense. And there's the rest of the defense. Of course, the pressure on those defensive backs. And Kelly, hit from the blind side, is charging through with Simon Fletcher. Fletcher, who led the Broncos in sacks again this year, as he has for 4 consecutive years. He had 13.5.
Well, Fletcher, coming from the right side, typically he's on the left side, was totally unblocked. They did not account for him on the outside. Apparently, Wolford thought he had somebody inside he had to block down on. Completely unblocked.
So 3rd and long and a draw to Thurman Thomas, who struggles to gain his balance and falls at the 23. And the Denver Broncos, who had the top defense in the AFC this year, show it in the first series of downs.
Well, in that skirmish, it was all the Broncos. They kept the pressure on from the standpoint of coverage down the field and the sack itself, and then they took apart the draw play that typically Thomas will get 6 to 8 yards on 3rd down with. So that first skirmish has to be all Denver.
Chris Moore, who grew up in Thompson, Georgia, the hometown of Ray Guy, one of the finalists for the Hall of Fame this year. Moore to punt it, averaged 38.6 on the season. At the other end is Vance Johnson at the 32. Has an opening and returns to the 45-yard line. So John Elway and the Bronco offense take over in good field position after a 45-yard punt, 13 on the return. And here's the mastermind of last week's great comeback, and Davidson, Farrell, 2 Weidells, and Lanier will block for him. In the backfield, Steve Sewell, all-purpose. Gaston Green, a 1,000-yard rusher in his first season in Denver. Michael Young, the leading Bronco receiver. Rookie Derek Russell, tight end Clarence Kay, and Vance Johnson joins the cast when they go to 3 wideouts. And the crowd going to make it tough on Elway. Give to Green. And Green, former UCLA star, a pickup of 3. Shane Conlon made the tackle. He led the Buffalo in tackles on the season. Leon Seals, Jeff Wright back from injury, Bruce Smith on 1 bad knee. With Bennett brilliant last week, Cornelius Bennett, Shane Conlon, Carlton Bailey, and Darrell Talley are the linebackers for the Bills. Kirby Jackson had a couple of interceptions last week against Kansas City. Odom, Smith, and Kelso joined by Hicks and Williams in the nickel defense.
Well, Gaston Green on this surface can be devastating, and he can be a major factor. It's very fast, and he's very elusive.
Elway's first throw. Great protection, and he completes his pass to Shannon Sharp, a tight end at the 40 of Buffalo that quiets this crowd for a moment. First down, Broncos.
No pass rush whatsoever. Now, I'm sure Buffalo is looking right now for the run, but Smith is taken apart, and inside, Bennett came inside, and he was collapsed inside. So thus far, very briefly, Denver is in this ball game. It's really good to see. If they can move the ball in the first quarter, in the first half, we're going to have a great game on our hands.
Fumble as Elway falls on it, but it appeared that a Bill had jumped into the offensive line. May have been drawn offside.
Now, Denver, Dick, is trying to work a snap count, a snap count without really saying much other than the word set, and then the ball being snapped. They feel that the sound factor can really disrupt a cadence, so it's a silent snap count related to timing by the offensive line.
Penalty against Denver for illegal procedure.
Ball start on the center. Double jerk on the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Dave Weidel had hoped that he could turn the ball just slightly before snapping it, and his offensive lineman would see it. Then when he'd move the ball into position to snap it, they know the snap count would be silent, but coming very quickly. So that has, in a sense, stopped an effect that Denver needed to try to keep continuity in their offense.
On 1st and 15, Elway eludes the blitz of Smith and throws incomplete. Wide open in the center of the field was Vance Johnson, but Elway hurrying and throwing against his body.
Well, the boot pass, we've seen it every week. Denver's famous with Elway coming out after faking left, coming out right. But virtually everybody in the league now has shut that play down. It's been very popular for 3 or 4 years. But you can see a good statistic. On the road, Elway's taken most of his sacks, and it's primarily because of crowd noise and his offensive line being unable to get on track as they'd like to protect Elway. So that's a problem, and this noise is engulfing everybody.
Under center, 2nd and 15. The give is to Steve Sewell, who gets the 5 yards back. They lost on the penalty, and it'll be 3rd and 10. Carlton Bailey and Leonard Smith make the tackle.
Steve Sewell will be in the lineup on any passing down, and he's having his best year. A guy out of Reardon High School in San Francisco, played at Oklahoma, excellent 3rd down football player, fine receiver, and excellent with the trap or the draw.
Elway tries it from the shotgun.
Now this is the test, and the crowd is on their feet.
Especially tough on those tackles. Elway down the middle. It's deflected and dropped by Kelso. Mark Kelso had it flop right into his lap, unable to pull it in.
Mark Jackson was uncovered and wide open. And Kelso got almost lucky to get the interception.
Clifford Hicks, the man who seemed to deflect the pass, number 27.
You'll see the snap count and the ball being put in the air. Atwater blitz. There it is, right there.
Clifford Hicks, number 27.
If you bring enough people, Dick, somebody's going to be unblocked. And Elway will figure that out from the standpoint who it will be from down to down.
Mike Moran aiming for that coffin corner, and he catches it. How good was the kick? They mark it at the 10, 11. They're still going with it.
Tomorrow. Why has it always got to be tomorrow?
Coach says everyone has one great game, and
if you believe in something strongly enough, you do it today.
He said it was my best game yet. It was like nothing could go wrong.
There is one resolution that may make the others easier to keep. Ask your financial advisor how you can increase your spendable income with Nuveen tax-free investments, or call 1-800-4-NUVEEN.
Mobile communication. It is the power to hold your world together. At GTE, we can put that power at hand to take with you where it has never gone before. Into the skies, down endless highways, beyond all past limitations. At GTE, we give you the freedom of personal communication and the power of new opportunities. Because at GTE, the power is on.
There's a first time for everything. Your first love, first kiss, first date, first job, and your first new car. For more people, that first new car is Chevy Cavalier. A simple, solid value that'll get you through the changes until the next first time. The cars more people depend on. And now it's easy to win with the heartbeat.
It takes a while for the Buffalo offense to come to a boil. Their lowest scoring quarter, the first, but as we have seen, especially powerful from there on. And they're scoring by quarter on the season. And slow last week early against Kansas City.
Well, I'll tell you
They
another
got
thing,
rolling
Dick. Early on, Kelly's calling his own plays. And a year ago, he was scoring early. But now he's deciphering, in a sense, and figuring out the defense as he goes along. It takes him 2 or 3 series to get it done. But now here against Denver, just fair to average stats. Denver does play good defense. Elway's got the big name and the Denver offense, but this Denver defense, with Wade Phillips as the director of it, has done a beautiful job all year. Much improved.
And defending Kelly in history of the 3 games. Up the middle goes Thurman Thomas, the outstanding player from scrimmage in the National Football League the last 3 years, leading with his yardage compiled as a receiver and rusher. And another powerful season for this 4th year back from Oklahoma State.
And there they are again, right at the line of scrimmage, giving Denver no breathing room.
On second down, it's Thomas again drawing the crowd, and short yardage out to about the 18-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 4.
2 number. There's Wade Phillips, and he is now signaling, and hopefully most of his players see that signal. But again, Mecklenburg will call it out, as will Dennis Smith, to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Here comes a blitz from the outside.
Dennis Smith doesn't get there, and the pass incomplete to Don Beebe. Beebe covered by Charles Dimry. So 3 and out again.
Dennis Smith timed it perfectly. He snuck up, and was on the line of scrimmage when the ball snapped, totally unblocked. Now, that hit is questionable. You just shouldn't have that going on in the NFL. But he's got to do the damage whenever he gets a chance. Two people to watch for, Dick. Number 27, Steve Atwater. 49, Dennis Smith. Whenever the Bills have the ball, the two safety men are the key to the Denver defense.
Chris Moore kicking with the wind at his bat. Vance Johnson deep in Denver territory. This is another beautiful spiral. Johnson at the 36-yard line. Breaks one tackle of Henry Jones and is out to the 49. So Denver again starts near midfield. No score. First quarter, 10 minutes to go.
Maybe your first car shouldn't be a car.
I was 18, didn't have a care, working for peanuts, not a dime to spare.
Get this Chevy S10 EL pickup with cash back for around $8,000. Chevrolet, the trucks you can depend on, the trucks that last.
Like a rock, oh, like a rock.
24 hours a day across Europe, Asia, and America. 70,000 of the best people on the ground are working to bring you the best service in the sky.
Delta, we love to fly and it shows.
Chug along. Pinstripe suits and high-heel shoes. The daily grind gives a boy the blues. Don't work me over, I know what works good. While the best thing though is so misunderstood. Just give me what the doctor ordered. Just what the doctor ordered. Just give me a Dr. Pepper, we want it. Whoa, just what the doctor ordered. The taste that's made to order, we love it.
NBC Sports coverage of the AFC Championship is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the trucks you can depend on, the trucks that last. By Federal Express, all around the world, our most important package is yours. And by Coors Extra Gold, slow brewed for real beer flavor. Coors Extra Gold, no doubt about it, beer is back.
Magnificent Niagara Falls, some 25 miles as the crow flies from Rich Stadium, where the Denver Broncos scoreless here in the first period. Denver now with its second possession. Buffalo unable to make a first down in its first two. A little delay and drilled in the backfield was Gaston Green by Cornelius Bennett.
Bennett is unblocked. He moves so quickly that Sharp cannot stay with him. Now, this guy, Dick, I've seen a lot of football players in my career, and I'm sure Bill Parcells is watching the same thing. Cornelius Bennett is as quick as a man has ever been playing that position. He can start outside and end up inside, and an accomplished blocker isn't quick enough to respond. He's at his very best right now.
He whipped Shannon Sharp easily on that play for a loss of 4. Second and 14. Elway downfield. Incomplete to Sharp, who was open, and I believe a flag has gone down.
You get one chance during the game with a play like that. The next time it's run, it will be covered. You just get one shot, and Elway overthrew it. Now, maybe there may be a penalty involved with it, an infraction, but the play itself, those special plays, you hold up, and you time it, you call it at just the right time, then you overthrow, and the play's wasted.
No flag. Apparently they picked it up. 3rd and 14. Here they come. Elway dumps it off complete to Sewell. Breaks one tackle down to clear at the 40 and hit from behind at the 34-yard line by Leonard Smith. Worst down Denver.
A well-timed screenplay again to Sewell. It's very, very well done. Really, in this particular case, as we get a look at it, the blockers really don't get there. Now, you see the blockers come out a little bit late, but Sewell will have to make people miss. But he gets a full blitz, and outside Sewell comes. Really, the coverage is way over here, so Sewell has a lot of room to run. Every time you blitz in a championship game, you're taking a chance on ending the season right there. These teams are all too good to take on much blitzing.
First down at the 34 and hit as soon as he takes the handoff is Green again as Darrell Talley and others in on the stop. 56 Talley on his way to the Pro Bowl.
Talley unblocked coming from the outside. You'll see him right in front of him. He angles down inside. Now, you typically don't expect an outside linebacker to be willing to start up the field and angle right down along the line of scrimmage. When you see that, the coaches upstairs are looking for a bootleg, a quarterback keep, something that fakes inside and then gets the quarterback outside on Talley.
Second and 11, Dan Reeves in his 42nd playoff game as a player, assistant coach, and head coach. And trying to get to his 9th Super Bowl. Leon Seals, number 96.
They're going to have to run, unfortunately, at Bruce Smith and at Talley. To the right side, they've got Cornelius Bennett sitting over there, and everybody's concerned about him. That time, Seals took Lanier apart. And so that side of the offensive line is going to have real problems. Go left, you've got a man that's hurting, just playing with heart in Bruce Smith.
Well, first down at the 34. The first play lost a yard. They lose 5 more on that one. 3rd and 16.
A drift pass to the outside.
Elway, lots of time.
Got to get rid of it.
And finally brought down by Jeff Wright.
Elway wanted to throw to his far left. He wanted to roll right, hold the ball, then throw far left, and he just took way too much time. Took too much time in trying to get it done.
Yeah, the coverage was terrific. Couldn't find an open white shirt.
Just couldn't get it done. But it was really his fault all the way. Just a little bit reckless holding the ball that long.
Clifford Hicks is deep as Horan sends an end-over-end punt. That takes a Buffalo bounce and still rolling in the Bills' favor out to the 24-yard line. 6:29 remaining in the first scoreless period.
Honey, you know that little package they delivered this morning? Did you put it somewhere?
Federal Express knows how it feels when you have to locate your package.
Mommy needs it for a meeting.
That's why Federal Express has a tracking system that can tell you where your package is.
How about giving Mommy a hint?
Of course, once it gets there, you're on your own. Federal Express.
Henry, where are my keys?
Our most important package is yours.
When you've got something precious to carry, this is one way to do it. Here's another. Chevy Lumina Euro Sedan. Engineered with 4-wheel independent suspension and standard anti-lock brakes. It's one way to help make sure your precious cargo is delivered safely. The cars more people depend on. Chevy Lumina. Family Circle's Domestic Family Car of the Year for the 2nd straight year.
At John Nuveen and Company, we know the best resolutions are the ones you can keep. Ask your financial advisor how you can increase your spendable income with Nuveen tax-free investments. Or simply call this number.
Hey, which one looks like your beer?
I would say this one. The one on my left.
This is Budweiser. Here's Coors Extra Gold.
Wait, Bud, wait a minute.
58% of Bud drinkers preferred Coors Extra Gold in a taste test.
Looks like a better beer.
And guess what else?
What?
Coors Extra Gold was a 2-time winner at the Great American Beer Festival.
That's very impressive.
Slow brewed with that real beer flavor and color, the way beer was meant to be. Which may be why
Extra Gold beats Bud.
Coors Extra Gold. If you're missing real taste, beer is back.
Look up beer in the dictionary, you probably see a picture of Extra Gold next to it.
Denver's formula, last to first. Touchdown scored last year when they went 5 for 11, 32, and they scored 32 touchdowns this year. But all the Broncos will tell you, it's the defense that has gotten them into the playoffs. And look at that number, 43 scores allowed last year, but 22 this season.
There's such a marked difference from 5-11 to a championship game, and it's every one of the offensive players from Denver, to a man, will say it's our defense that made the difference.
Buffalo without a first down, had the ball for the 3rd time. That's Jim Lucas as Thomas breaks that tackle and charges forward to the 28-yard line. Atwater and Smith, the two safety men, finally get Thompson down.
Lucas blitzed and again was unblocked. Nobody came near him. He's right in front of us. You see a clean shot. Now look at that man's balance. That's amazing. He can take a shot on the leg, keep his feet, good wide base, and keep moving.
To the lost 2, game 4, flipped into the air, and wasn't intercepted by Cragen. A miraculous try, and it is Denver's ball. Cragen caught that one like an outfielder.
Denver is really getting pushed. Ball coming right at us, and there's Cragen. Now, Cragen was stunning outside. Wasn't really a factor, but he was so quick in responding to what he saw. Bats the ball, turns around, and then the ball in the air. These are always a problem when that ball goes straight up in the air, that one of the linemen will find it.
Ron Holmes, number 90, deflected the ball, and Cragen, a 265-pound nose guard, able to make that basket catch. So the ball at the 29-yard line, the Broncos' first turnover. And here it is again. This is a miraculous play by a man. You expect this kind of agility and effort out of a defensive back, not a nose guard. Look at this. Almost blindly. How do you even see it? Elway, the handoff to Green. And he's caught from behind by Cornelius Bennett. Now, if you want more evidence of the speed of this 238-pound linebacker, Bennett from the other side of the field catching Gaston Green.
Now, Bennett has that quickness. He can come right back down the line of scrimmage. But I must say, Denver's going where they should with a running game. They're running to their left, away from him. What they need to do is bring a wide receiver in tight or someone to control Bennett on the backside of the play, then run left.
Crushed at the 30. Cornelius Bennett again.
Well, people are blitzing, Dick, and I can't believe it. And both clubs are having problems with it. They must not expect this defensive tactic. Now, you see Bennett come to the inside. That was Seals who really made everything get started. But on that right side, I'm telling you, Lanier and Wydell are having their problems. But the blitzes are having an impact in this ball game. Sure, they should continue them. If you can get something out of them early, do it, but late it could mean your ball game. One big play.
Elway in trouble again, gets it away, incomplete. Intended for Green. Well covered by the Bills' Darryl Talley. Bruce Smith was the man putting pressure on Elway.
Boy, these are attacking defenses, and both clubs are taking the chance they can get there before one of these great receivers can break open deep down the field. And what I think may be happening is that special plays designed just for this game, for the other team, and vice versa, have been attempted, and they've been running right into blitzes and blowing up right in the face of the quarterback.
47-yard attempt by David Treadwell into the wind. It is no good. Hook to the left. There is a flag on the play. And Buffalo cheers. It is against Denver, so undoubtedly declined. And that interception by Cragen.
Number 88 on the offense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Does not produce any points. Buffalo denies with 4:41 left in the opener.
Security.
The sun upon my skin like a rock. Hard against the wind like a rock.
Only Chevy S10 Blazer 4x4 gives you America's favorite four-wheel drive system and the security of standard four-wheel anti-lock brakes. Chevrolet, the trucks you can depend on, the trucks that last.
Something's waiting inside the powerful 486 SX computer. A technology that will make it even more powerful. We call it room for the future. Introducing built-in upgradability. Check into it. From Intel, the computer inside.
My dad had ulcers. So when my stomach started acting up, I was afraid to go to the doctor. But the pain wouldn't go away, so I went. Was I relieved when my doctor said Mylanta? He said it was indigestion, not an ulcer. And my kind of indigestion called for a strong medicine.
Mylanta is strong medicine, strongly recommended. In fact, Mylanta is the antacid doctors recommend most.
My doctor said Mylanta.
Open your eyes. Open your heart.
Peter Pan's my dad.
Open your imagination all over again. Hook, rated PG. Now playing at a theater near you.
With a last-place schedule, many felt Denver had some soft spots in 1991 to account for their big comeback. But Buffalo, look, their opponents had a worse percentage of wins than Denver's. Sherman Thomas on first down, and the flags go down as Thomas tackled a yard shy of the line of scrimmage. Carl Mecklenburg, the veteran Pro Bowler, number 77, in on the stop.
Both these clubs are exploding defensively. The surface is just right for them. Good traction.
We have two
They can
fouls on the play, both against the offense. Holding number 59 is declined. Holding number 51 is accepted. 10 yards, still first down.
So Mitch Farrat and Jim Richard, the two guards, both guilty, and they take the veteran Richards penalty, and it's 10 yards against Buffalo.
Carl Mecklenburg playing inside now where he belongs as an inside linebacker is a major force in this Denver defense, because when he attacks, he's big enough that he can take the guard apart, and he's quick enough to get there before the ball gets to his outside.
First and 20 for Kelly. Complete at the 32-yard line. Charles Dimry up from a corner to make the tackle after a gain of 11.
The play was there. Now this is the best of football. Beautiful pattern by Lofton. The ball's thrown high, but look at the shots. Steve Atwater gets there just an instant late. Now that's the best of football. Beautiful execution offensively and defensively.
Draw to Thomas. Pulls his way to the 37-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and 3. Mecklenburg and Brooks in on the stop.
Well, we've gone most of a quarter, and Buffalo is yet to threaten. So Denver, you'd have to say at this point in the game, is sure as heck holding their own at least.
For the first down, and they may get it on a penalty as Kelly pulled back from center. We'll see whether Howard Ballard helped to draw the defense offside.
Prior to the snap, number 75, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
And when Ballard moves, the house does draw attention. He's 6'6" and 340.
Well, Ballard's got a problem because he's got Fletcher sitting over there on his side. Oh, it looks as though they're going to run a running play in the opposite direction. But they're moving Simon Fletcher around, and he is a devastating pass rusher. He's got he's got 13.5 sacks in regular season play.
One today. 3rd and 7. Kelly has the first down at the 41-yard line to the tight end, Keith McKellar.
Well, a week ago, McKellar was catching the ball and getting a chance to run. Now Kelly has to be perfect. He gets him the ball, and look, the instant he gets it, bang, from either side. He's got Atwater and Mecklenburg catching him just perfectly. In other words, you can't live on that play very long.
Here comes Thomas. He pushes outside, and he's into Denver territory at the 49-yard line.
Well, Thomas bounced a play that was designed to go inside. And he moves to the outside to make it work. And this is what concerned Denver. Because, as you'll see, you'll get a pulling guard, a pulling tackle. The play's designed to go in here, but watch it get to the outside. Everybody's responding to the blockers and failing to account for the great instincts that Thomas can show us.
It's 2nd and 1, and Thomas fighting for the yard and a first down. Mecklenburg and Warren Powers in on the stop.
Again, Thomas ready to bounce it. He sees all that trouble inside. Everybody's stacked up. He'll start jumping outside, and with that speed, he can be devastating. So the safety men or the perimeter defenders really have to be alert and not underestimate his ability to get out there and then outrun them to the sideline.
Close enough for a measurement at the 49. Down to the 2:16 mark of this opening quarter. No score. And Buffalo another first down.
A good look at the two people we pointed out, Steve Atwater and Dennis Smith. Now you'll see this support right into the play almost immediately. Now watch Atwater come from that safety position and actually get to the line of scrimmage to make the stop. So these two big, powerful safeties of Denver are going to be all over the field today, and they're the guys that are going to take on Thomas.
Kenneth Davis gives Thomas a blow, and it's Davis with a carry. Protecting the ball as he drives for a couple up the middle. Mike Kroll, the brilliant rookie, back in for Denver. But it was Michael Brooks and Mecklenburg in on the stop. There's Kroll from Nebraska. He was the 4th player picked in the draft, and a solid one for the Broncos. He had 10 sacks, led all NFL rookies, and 4 forced fumbles to lead Denver. Very fast, 4.4 speed. A dump off to Davis. Guess who makes another tackle? Mecklenburg, his 5th of the game.
Now that was what we call a fast screen, in which Kelly will know that there'll be an unblocked man if he blitzes from the outside. And in this particular case, Kelly just demonstrated why he's a champion. He took the shot and threw the ball.
James Lofton is being attended on the near sideline, so Al Edwards, 85, in at his spot. From the Denver 44. Batted in the air and almost caught by Farrat. Since it had been batted by a Denver player, he could have caught that ball and run with it, but his instinct was to drop it like a hot potato. And it is 4th down for Buffalo. Farrat, who has very long hair, he tucks his hair into his shoulder pads. Sampson.
Now you have to give a lot of credit to Wade Phillips' defense. These guys are penetrating, but they're keeping their eye on the quarterback. And Craig, in this case, again times it and gets that hand up just at the right moment. So a combination of athletic ability, but the coaching itself and bringing that out of the players.
Chris Moore's 3rd punt, dying in the air and bounding to Carlton Bailey, who touches it at the 24. Denver begins from that spot. Boy, what a weekend on NBC Sports next Saturday and Sunday. And on Sunday, we have 3 treats for you. First, an NBA doubleheader. That's about as close as those two guys will get. Michael and Isaiah. And then it'll be Portland and Phoenix with Clyde the Glide against the brilliant Kevin Johnson of the Suns. And then the Bob Hope final round of that Desert Classic. Lofton apparently taking a blow in the nose. No score. Final minute, first quarter. Elway from his 24. A little draw. And that's Green showing his speed, and he was one player from a touchdown. It was Mark Kelso. If he gets by Kelso, he has the speed to go the distance.
Nobody was going to catch him. He was on his way. And Kelso, this is the free safety's job to make the clean tackle when he's one-on-one. You'll see Kelso come from the screen, moving his feet, keeping his head up, and grabbing something. He had to get a hold of something.
Green's longest run, 19 yards and a first down for Denver. So the Bronco offense has moved the ball, and their defense has been tougher than expected by the Buffalo fans as we come to the end of this first period. Elway guns complete, and it's Vance Johnson out of bounds at the Buffalo 48-yard line with 4 seconds left in the quarter.
That's all timing. Elway takes 5 steps, throws off his right foot. You'll see the crossover by Johnson, the ball there, and then Johnson using his skills to stay in bound before stepping out of bounds. But that's all timing, and that's the kind of thing you see these guys do year after year, training camp after training camp. If it's there, they take it.
Ball goes out of bounds. They wind the clock, and that is the end of the quarter as the Denver Broncos heighten hopes in Rocky Mountain country with their performance in the first.
Working to be the best they can be.
teammates. Sponsored by the U.S. Army. In the 1980 AFC Championship game, the Oakland Raiders beat the San Diego Chargers, overcoming enormous odds to become the first wild card team ever to reach the Super Bowl. 2 weeks later in Super Bowl 15, the Raiders made history again. By becoming the first and still the only wild card team ever to win the Super Bowl, the Oakland Raiders were the best they can be.
If you want to move ahead in any career, you have to know what most employers want. Like how to work with a team, how to handle responsibility, how to take on a tough job and see it through. You can learn all these things in the Army. So when you do set off on the road to success, you'll already be in the driver's seat.
Diet Dr. Pepper tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper. When you want one, there's no stopping the taste. Usually.
Love her, hold her, and remember our simple formula. At Dean Witter,
we measure success one investor at a time.
NBC Sports coverage of the AFC Championship is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
Welcome back to Western New York and Buffalo. The Orchard Park here as we pull into Rich Stadium. It's been home sweet home here for the Bills. They're 33-3 in the last 36 games and had a 17-game winning streak here until the Detroit overtime loss in the final game of the regular season. No score as Elway goes to work. First down, and it's Green. Little delay, and then he punches off the left side to the 43.
Well, both clubs really must respect each other. That time, Leonard Smith, the strong safety, tried to blitz from the outside. The play went the other way, but he was going to be there in any case. And so you can see him sneaking up and then blitzing, but of course the play is going to break to the other side. Now you see the fullback lead, and then the tailback follow it right inside. Green following his fullback inside.
They spotted at the 44. They bring linebackers again, and Green is hit after a yard pickup. And as they unpile, credit the tackle to Shane Patrick Conlon.
You don't know when, Dick, either team will finally relax and begin to execute. Both are so hyper at this point that the defenses are disrupting both offenses. There isn't any real continuity offensively by either club. At some point, you'd assume one club or the other is going to relax, settle down, and begin to execute.
Pretty even. As Denver 48 total yards, Buffalo 43. Shotgun Elway on third down along 5, and he's got his man over the middle for a first down. It's Michael Young who caught 44 on the regular season to lead the Broncos. Now, Michael Young and Gaston Green, 2 former Los Angeles Rams who have found life in the Mile High City. Look at that, 3 years with the Rams. Gaston Green had only 451 yards. He had 1,000 this year. And down to the bottom, Michael Young, 4 years with the Rams, used sparingly, 35 catches. This year alone, 44.
They tease each other. Both sat together on the bench for the Rams. Watch the game for 60 minutes.
Elway off play action, going deep for Johnson, and it's intercepted. Kirby Jackson, who had 2 last week, gets 1 today.
It just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. Jackson was right with this. Excellent technique. You see just a little bit of a weave by Johnson, but Jackson's inside his receiver in perfect position. Uh-oh, that may call for a replay.
Now they're going to have to review that one.
They're going to have to take a look.
The ball clearly hit the ground We're going to stay here. We're not going to commercial. It appears here that Kirby Jackson did not catch this cleanly. He has it there, but as he comes out...
It comes out.
Definitely.
It comes out. And I'm sure they'll look at it.
With an interception, the play is being reviewed.
So if it is overruled, that would bring up a 4th down in punting position for Denver. Actually, they might rather have this interception. The ball's on the 2-yard line. You're not going to kick it much better than that.
They've got the field position they want.
Actually, the overrule might help Buffalo more than Denver. Kirby Jackson, meanwhile, celebrating, however briefly, his 3rd interception of the playoffs.
After further review, we have a reversal. The pass was incomplete. Still first down that way.
They'll get another chance. Excellent coverage. He just couldn't hold on to the ball. It was too much to ask. He had to twist his body all the way around and catch a football. But that previous play was a play pass designed to fool Jackson, and he was not fooled. He was in perfect position.
So 4th down and about 8. Now they have a 4th down marker up. And a 1st down over here. Well, it can't be both, and it certainly isn't 1st down. Now 3rd down is the call.
Yeah, he naturally gets the down over, of course.
No, an incomplete pass, and it moves the yard 6 ahead. So that was a 2nd down play. Excuse me, 2nd down. So now 3rd down for Denver. So it indeed helps the Broncos, the reversal. Officials, after the confusion, they're going to meet and discuss upstairs to make sure that a down wasn't lost in the whole process.
So it was simply an incomplete pass, and he move it on. I don't know why they would have to discuss that.
Now the 1st down and
for the placement of the ball.
Now checking back. 1st down was the incomplete pass. They had just made a 1st down on the Michael Young pass. So now it is a 2nd down. The 1st down was the incomplete pass.
There's the play fake. Now you'll see the ball being thrown down the field.
On the 36-yard line.
Should be 2nd down.
2nd and 10. At the 36-yard line. So the Broncos benefit from the reversal on the call. Kirby Jackson, who thought he had the interception at the 2, but the evidence was clear that the ball had hit the ground. And now Elway has it at the 36, and Dale Hamer, the referee, going to be absolutely certain of the down and the spot of the ball, which of course the review official can help him with in looking at our tapes.
Well, Elway had gone for it as planned on 1st down, and he got the wrong defense. But now people have to start thinking 3 points at this point in the game. Someone's going to have to get some points here pretty quick. So expect some rather conservative play calling to get in position for a field goal at this point.
Michael Young had caught the 8-yard pass for a 1st down that took the ball to the Buffalo 36-yard line. And on 1st down, the incomplete pass.
It'll be 2nd down, 10.
And that is where we stand at the 36. Broncos have an intercepted pass, but missed on a 47-yard field goal. But they've moved the ball into Buffalo territory on most every possession.
Well, they're not going to let him play for a minute here. They must be talking about spotting the ball. That would be the only consideration.
The yardsticks are at the 37. I believe Young got to the 36. Well, they've lost a yard in the process. It's 2nd and 10, but they lost a yard. Steve Sewell unable to wiggle free from the grasp of Leon Seals and Shane Conlon.
Again, both outside linebackers blitz. They played man-to-man defense. Both clubs are going after each other, and this surprises me in a game like this. But at this point, there isn't any score, so you can't argue with them.
As Seals and Conlon come out, Mike Lodish in to rush the passer and an extra defensive back, Clifford Hicks.
Now this noise is deafening, and no one could hear Elway if he talked.
He dumps it off to Sewell, who has one blocker, wiggles outside, and then meets a crowd of blue shy of a first down at about the 31-yard line.
Now that was a screen pass with a single offensive lineman coming down the line of scrimmage to be ready to block the man that was covering Sewell. But defensively, it was taken away totally.
On 4th and 4, Dan Reeves brings in 2 tight ends, apparently going to go for it at the 31 of Buffalo.
Well, he must be very confident off looking at previous tapes with the play that he wants to use here. He must feel he can get it right here.
Full house backfield with Elway in the shotgun, and Buffalo calls time. May have had too many men on the field. You saw Mike Lodish come in very late, and Darryl Talley spends a timeout. It comes with 12:03 in a confusing second quarter.
With its powerful 16-valve engine, double wishbone suspension system, anti-lock brakes, and a driver's side airbag. Don't just think of it as a wagon. Think of it as an Accord with a bit more space.
Tomorrow. Why has it always got to be tomorrow?
Coach says everyone has one great game, and
if you believe in something strongly enough, you do it today.
He said it was my best game yet. It's like nothing could go wrong.
There is one resolution that may make the others easier to keep. Ask your financial advisor how you can increase your spendable income with Nuveen tax-free investments, or call 1-800-4-NUVEEN.
It was just another Saturday afternoon until those old guys came out of the woods with axes. Just when we thought it couldn't get any weirder, it did. They even brought their own music.
Awesome! Hey, fellas, how about a cold bud?
A bud? Obviously, we thought alike.
Oh, that's cold.
The world champion Bulls, the Detroit Pistons, Michael, Isaiah. 2 Central Division powers renew a little friendly rivalry. Then Clyde, KJ. The Portland Trailblazers battle the Phoenix Suns in a Wild West shootout. An NBA doubleheader next Sunday.
Surprising score in Buffalo. No score. 12:03 left in the first half. 4th down and 4. Dan Reeves going for it. Different personnel this time. He took out the tight ends and goes with a single back. Vance Johnson in motion. And offside, charges number 91, Jeff Wright. Was he drawn off?
They were preparing to blitz again. They were bringing extra people.
Coachman, number 91 of the defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And Jeff Wright was going to attempt to clear the way for a blitzer to come inside him. You'll see him move right here. And he was going to angle to the inside to allow a blitzer to come slipping right up into that hole and didn't quite get there.
You see Clifford Hicks, 27, slipping in from the secondary to follow right, and a first down on the penalty that doesn't please Marv Levy. So that might even have been part of the design for Denver, figuring 4th and 4, too long for a field goal. Treadwell's longest is 49. That would have been 48. And a punt. Well, let's see if we can get a penalty first down. And the Broncos work it to the 27.
Elway's going along to his linemen, each one of them telling them the play, the audible, and probably the snap count.
And the give straight ahead. Aston Green runs into Jeff Wright, 91.
That right is some football player. Gee, is he having a great year? He can really do everything. He's a good pass rusher, but he can handle the double team as typified in the NFL, in which two men will attempt to block him, then one of them leave to block the linebacker. He takes care of both of them and still holds his ground.
Injured in the first game of the regular season against Miami, missed the first half of the year, and part of the problem stopping the rush incurred by Buffalo. And this is Steve Sewell on that little swing pass, and Carlton Bailey finally rides him out of bounds, but not until Sewell gets to the 15-yard line.
Well, a play pass, finally throwing to a back out of the backfield. You'll see Sewell, number 30, really avoiding people, trying to give the impression he's about to initiate a block and then releasing. Sewell is a great utility man in a sense, Dick. He can play outside as a flanker, which he's done in the past. He can be an excellent reverse man. He's a good blocker. He's been injury prone, but he's so versatile they use him in these kinds of situations.
First down outside the 15. Deepest penetration by either team, and it's Gaston Green getting 5 before Cornelius Bennett can get on his heels with help from the secondary. That was the 11th play of this Dan Reeves directed drive.
Doug Rydell and Sean Farrell are doing an excellent job as offensive guards inside. They're sustaining their blocks, and their position is excellent as they initiate the blocks, which gives the ball carrier somewhere to go.
The Wydells, only the 6th time in NFL history, brothers playing, in essence, the same position on the same team. Uh-oh, fumble Elway, and who's got it? Elway recovered himself.
Well, and you wonder whether Dave Wydell, playing now really for the first time this year, any length of time, in place of Keith Parks, whether that exchange is a good one. You see, Elway never had the ball. He came up with half a football.
But alert enough to be able to find it and scrape it into his body.
And Wydell has got Jeff Wright sitting right on his nose every play.
So the loss back to the 16-yard line, 3rd and 10 and a half.
Now the linemen are exchanging with each other. That's the only possible communication.
Elway sacked as he's tripped up from behind. It appeared to be Bruce Smith. And how long it's been for Smith. He had only 1.5 sacks this year. Injured with that bad knee. Just got a piece of Elway from the backside.
Well, you'll see Smith coming upfield and Elway not stepping forward to avoid him. And so Elway spoke to us last night about he knows he has to step forward. You see the people on the outside, and Elway was so involved down the field that he lost track of Smith. And that's amazing that Smith can get that done with that knee problem.
That makes it a 42-yard field goal attempt by Treadwell with the wind. It is no good. Hit the upright. Smith might have been the difference. That 5 yards denies Denver. Still no score.
Forget the limits of ordinary basketball. You've entered the Nike Flight Dimension. Examine, if you will, Scottie Pippen, about to discover the power of his flight shoes in a time warp. And so, history gets a lesson in the flight dimension.
Son, you could make hundreds of dollars a year in professional basketball.
The aerodynamic shape seats 4 comfortably. The advanced VTEC E engine was designed for both power and economy. The new energy-efficient Civic VX from Honda. If everybody drove one, think of what we could save.
It's Domino's Double Up Deal.
Domino's, you're double hungry. Domino's, the deal for you.
2 medium pizzas, your favorite topping, just $10.99.
Nobody knows, nobody like Domino's.
Now get a delicious double helping of Domino's. 2 fresh, hot, medium pizzas, each with 1 topping, just $10.99. Delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed. And nobody else can say that.
Nobody knows, nobody like Domino's. Domino's Double Up Deal.
Oh, how lucky we are, the fans of players, to have this kind of weather in mid-January in Buffalo. Temperature in the low 40s as we look down from our helicopter. These aerial photos brought to you courtesy of Pennzoil Motor Oil. Missed field goal, and Kelly starts from his 25. Downfield to Lofton, incomplete, almost intercepted. Broken up by Wyman Henderson, and Steve Atwater, 27, had his hands on it.
Well, I haven't, and I know you haven't either, Dick, seen every Buffalo game this year. But this is by far the most competition I've seen them get. Remember a year ago, the Raider game here, and Kansas City. Well, this is a head-to-head ball game. Denver's not conceding an inch.
Well, the Bears gave him trouble early, but Buffalo at the half taking charge, and then won easily in the second half. Nothing much there for Thurman Thomas. I'd like to go back to the David Treadwell missed field goal that hit the upright. Denver had driven to the 11-yard line, fairly easy field goal range, but remember the fumble lost 5 on the snap, and then Bruce Smith's sack was another 8, so they kicked with a line of scrimmage to 24, which made it a 42-yard field goal instead of a 28-yard field goal. On third down, Kelly, incomplete, no one there. And again, Kelly and the offense for Buffalo unable to move against this Denver defense.
Well, how many times this year have we done broadcasting and reminded the viewers of the quarterback's sack on third down that cost the team a field goal? So many times.
Kelly now 3 for 9. 1 interception.
With an interception, right.
Moore to punt. Vance Johnson back at the 28th of Denver.
Well, Denver has to be heartened. People in Denver watching the game, but more importantly, the Denver team. They now know they can play right there head-to-head with Buffalo.
Johnson on the run at the 40. And returns to the 50-yard line. Short punt, well played by Vance Johnson. 33-yard kick, 10 on the return. Time.
There's nothing else like it on Earth, or maybe even in heaven. It stretches for 725 miles, and it's called the California coastline. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory all across America. And every day, with every car nationwide, only Alamo gives you all those miles for free, including the ones where the people bask in the sun and watch the seals, and the seals bask in the sun and watch the people.
In the spirit of the Olympic Games, the Postal Service would like to present two-day priority mail. That's delivery in just 2 days of up to 2 pounds for just $2.90. Remember, 2 days, 2 pounds, $2.90. 2-day priority mail from your Postal Service.
We deliver for you.
Official sponsor of the 1992 Olympic Games.
Nothing carves the road like the new Prelude from Honda.
NBC Sports coverage of the AFC Championship is brought to you by Honda, maker of fine quality automobiles. Test drive a Honda at your local dealer today. By John Nuveen and Company, quality tax-free investment since 1898. And by Budweiser, the beer with a taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Nothing beats a Bud.
Back at beautiful Rich Stadium, where the Bills set another record as the most attended home team. Close to 80,000 average on the regular season. From midfield, no score. It's Elway going to work again. A middle screen to Sewell at the 45-40. And he is inside the 25-yard line.
Good, beautiful job up inside. Beautiful screen. All three inside people were right on the money as far as their blocking, the timing. This is the kind of thing. You'll see all three of these people inside release late. Elway's going to draw people toward them. You see Sewell actually block a man. Now you see each one of them is assigned a given defender. We all know just where they're going. And Sewell is proving to be a critical factor in this ballgame.
And again to the 24 of 26 yards. And field goal range again. Sewell drilled by Bennett. Cornelius Bennett. I don't know if this is true, but I heard that Bennett has never received a game ball in all of his career here at Buffalo.
Well,
that's hard to believe.
In NBC ball, look at this. He comes right in underneath a tight end who wanted to block him. Now, I can't figure it out. First time in many years I've seen a championship game where both clubs are selling out, blitzing on defense, and the lack of respect for the outside receivers. They're out there one-on-one, and they're not getting the ball to them.
Bennett, however, was lauded by his coach last week as there's a reverse to Vance Johnson, and that didn't fool anyone, especially Cornelius Bennett chasing him across the field. Levy on Monday said he called up Bennett and praised him, said in his 5 years he's never seen anyone play any better than Bennett did against Kansas City.
Bennett's game has totally changed since Jeff Wright and Bruce Smith were injured earlier. Bennett had to pick up all the slack. They moved him inside on occasion and exchanged him with Conlon, made him an inside linebacker. He had to work on his pass rush techniques. He's so much different a ball player now than he was a year ago.
Third and long. 6 minutes plus left in the first half. No score. Elway shotgun. A draw for Elway. And look at Elway inside the 20 to the 19 won't be enough. That'll leave him 5 yards shy of a first down, but puts Treadwell closer for the field goal upcoming. The
Reeves wanted the 3 points, Dick. Dan Reeves wanted to get on that scoreboard. That was the safest play he could run. He knew he'd get part of it at least, and maybe get a little bit lucky and get the first down. But now they're in the middle of the field, excellent position to get themselves at least on the board.
37 yards this time, the shortest of the 3 attempts. It's to the right again and hit the upright again. Oh, my!
The same kick.
What are the odds on a man able to hit 2 in a row, hit the upright? Well, Buffalo loves it, as Treadwell has missed now from 47, 42, and this heartbreaker from 37.
Well, he's not going to get many more chances.
In a game where
sooner or later, the Bills are going to come alive.
Buffalo with only 2 first downs. They had 29 against Kansas City last week. Looks like a procedure penalty there. A flag down. It goes to Beebe. And the little guy from Chapman State with his first catch pays for it. Looked as if there was movement on the right side of the Buffalo line.
Well, we assumed that the offensive line of Denver would have problems because of crowd noise. I doubt that it's crowd noise affecting Buffalo, but in this particular case, that kills them.
Offense, the right end, moved.
So instead of a gain of about 8, a 5-yard penalty. Someone lined on that right side leaned forward on the snap, and Treadwell being consoled on the Bronco sidelines, as we have seen Scott Norwood, the Buffalo kicker, receiving that treatment out at the Raiders. Remember where the Buffalo Bills came from well behind, and Norwood finally kicked one in overtime to win it at the Coliseum. Kelly on 1st and 15, under pressure and incomplete. Atwater drew a shot. Lofton. Atwater coming up and timing his hit.
We talked about the safeties, and are they playing? Now they can get burnt sooner or later behind them, but Steve Atwater, number 27, in a zone defense. Look at him attack James Lofton. Timed it perfectly. And those are the patterns that have really been hurting opponents. Buffalo on shallow crosses, taking people apart. They haven't done it yet today.
On 2nd and 15 toward the sidelines to Lofton, but again, Atwater was there in the short zone, so Kelly had to loft it high over his head, and therefore high out of bounds.
Well, that was not a good throw.
Atwater
did get his deep out.
As you see, the son of Bum, Wade Phillips, signal in the defense. Atwater and Smith, both these safeties go to the Pro Bowl this year. There's a lot of good ones at that position, but this is the best pair.
Wade Phillips, by the way, is turned into one of the great technicians in the game of football.
3rd and 15, a screen to Thomas, has some blockers, but then the defense closes in at the 20-yard line. A gain of only 5. Wyman Henderson, number 24, first to get there, and Buffalo will punt again.
Greg Cragen, out of the nose position, felt the lineman leaving on the screen, and he went right out there with them. He was waiting right with them. And that's the toughest thing about the screen pass. Defensive linemen can recognize the pass techniques on a screen, and they can go right out with the lineman as they leave.
Broncos out playing. Highly favored Buffalo thus far in the half, but still no score as Vance Johnson waits at midfield. Moore sends a beauty. Fair catch. Johnson back at the 31-yard line. A terrific kick of 49 yards. No return.
Images presented by Honda. Whose senses are so acute that they can determine which is more frightening, the moment of impact or the moment immediately before impact?
They say you can please some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time. But you can't please all of the people all of the time. Or can you?
Diet Dr. Pepper tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper. When you want one, there's no stopping the taste.
The day may come when travelers don't care how much their luggage weighs. But for now, there's the Samsonite Lightweight. It's 25% lighter than the average soft-side suitcase. Because at least in the immediate future, the weight of the luggage you carry can still be a matter of some gravity. Samsonite, our strengths are legendary.
Off in the distance, Lake Erie. So look at the first 5 possessions for the Broncos. A couple of punts, and then they had 3 chances to score. But misses from Treadwell's foot of 47, 42, and 37 yards. Now they begin from their 32-yard line. Denver's compiled 8 first downs to Buffalo's 2. Away a delay to Green. Gaston Green to the 34-yard line. On the sidelines, the man that Green replaced, Bobby Humphrey from Alabama, who had rushed for 1,000 yards in each of his first 2 years with Denver, a #1 pick, then held out. didn't arrive till very late and into the season, into October, and Dan Reeves used him very sparingly. He carried the ball only 11 times for 33 yards, not in uniform today. He's healthy. It's just at this point, Reeves said, hadn't played enough. I don't know if I can trust him. He might fumble. I'll stay with the men who got me here.
Well, Gaston Green's having a sensational year.
On 2nd down and 8. Elway on the roll. In trouble. Breaks 2 tackles. Still no one open. Now he throws and finds his receiver at the 47-yard line. It's Shannon Sharp, the younger brother of Sterling, the outstanding receiver of the Green Bay Packers.
I don't know to this day how Elway gets away with this. Look at him. He's going to roll all the way left. The play's designed to be out here. Now he avoids superior athletes. And he's not that fast at this stage of his career. And he can still find somebody and hit them. And my guess is right now, Dick, Elway can hardly break 5 flat in a 40, and yet he can make these great athletes missing. There's an instinct there that's so rare.
That was Bruce Smith and Cornelius Bennett that ran into each other trying to tackle him. But Quickie outside to Sewell, who gets to the 50, a short pickup of 4, Shane Conlon and Nate Odoms on the tackle.
Well, the one thing they can do is get the ball to Sewell for not much, but they might be able to control the ball. Now, there was Conlon, who, by the way, has had a great season. People were really surprised that Shane did not make the Pro Bowl. Although he made it a year ago, this was by far his best season as a linebacker, as a professional.
I guess with Bennett and Talley, his linebacker teammates making it, it was tough to vote for 3 Bills, but Conlon certainly deserving. The clock, 2:30 left in the half. 2nd down and 7. Sewell again. And he dives to the 46-yard line, and it was Cornelius Bailey hawking Elway as he threw, and then Bailey downfield. Carlton Bailey making the tackle as we approach the 2-minute timeout. Sewell now with 5 catches, 67 yards. To be admired, as is his 31-inch waist, a 210-pounder, Steve Sewell. The 2-minute timeout.
At John Nuveen & Company, we know the best resolutions are the ones you can keep. Ask your financial advisor how you can increase your spendable income with Nuveen tax-free investments. Or simply call this number.
Bugsy, nominated for 8 Golden Globes, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, and Best Actor. Winner, Best Picture, LA Film Critics, and Best Actor, National Board of Review. Bugsy, rated R, now playing at a theater near you.
Hey, which one looks like your beer?
Right here.
That one. This is Budweiser. Here's Coors Extra Gold.
Oh, man, just goes to show you.
58% of Bud drinkers preferred Coors Extra Gold in a taste test.
Think they're right. Looks like a better beer.
And guess what else?
What?
Coors Extra Gold was a 2-time winner at the Great American Beer Festival.
I believe that.
Slow brewed for that real beer flavor and color, the way beer was meant to be, which may be why
Gold beats the Bud.
Coors Extra Gold. If you're missing real taste, beer is back.
Well, I'm gonna go get some of that stuff.
Next week is All-Star Saturday on NBC. First, it's Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and the greatest stars in hockey at the NHL All-Star Game. Then, celebrities from the worlds of sports and entertainment tee it up with the PGA's best at the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic. Hockey's All-Stars and stars of all sorts, all next Saturday on NBC Sports.
And if you're just joining us at Rich Stadium in Buffalo, that score will have to stun you a bit. No score. In fact, the only serious opportunities have come when Denver has driven into Buffalo territory. They've missed on that 3 straight field goals by David Treadwell, all makeable from 47, 42, and 37. And they're in Buffalo territory again. A 3rd and 2. Fumble. And Sewell has fallen on it at the 47-yard line, shy of the first down.
And was the ball snapped to Sewell? It looked as though it was a draw play with a direct snap going to Sewell on the right. Now he's taken his, that's the tough thing about that kind of football. We had developed that with the 49ers and always had the problem. The ball carrier wants to see the blocking, and meanwhile, here comes a ball toward him from the center. If he takes his eye off it, as Sewell just did, you've got a fumble.
Put it right in the helmet.
Yeah, he wanted you know, that's tough running inside against Buffalo, and he wanted to see where he would go when he got the ball.
The Broncos taking as much time as they can before the punt by Horan, so the clock is now down to 1:10. And they'll even take the 5-yard delay of game to spend all that time. So Buffalo not using a timeout. Remember, they had to spend one earlier in the half. And so Buffalo with 2 timeouts and 1:08 as they expect this punt from Horan. There's the expert on World War II history, Marv Levy, his idol Winston Churchill. And he has to be a bit back on his heels here at the defense of the opposition. What are they doing to stop this Bills high?
Well, everybody, when I say all the people available are slamming into that line of scrimmage on defense. Both clubs are using the same tactic. That should leave wide receivers chances to maneuver down the field. Neither club's been able to get the ball down the field, something that both of them have done very well over the years, especially the Buffalo Bills.
Clifford Hicks deep as Horan will kick from just inside his 40. Beautiful high punt, fair catch Hicks at the Buffalo 13-yard line with Shannon Sharp right in his face. A reminder, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be presenting the Keystone Beer Player of the Game. Well, they're in the spirit in Buffalo, and at halftime we'll have all the crew from NFL Live. Pleased that they're here with us at Rich Stadium to analyze the first half, as Bob is joined by Will Bill and one of the Buffalo Bills heroes, O.J. Simpson. Has O.J. stopped signing autographs yet? I'd just like to have a quarter for everyone he signed this weekend.
He ran out of people at our hotel and went to the next one.
Did he? Just hang around the lot.
Yeah,
it's amazing how you'll be known.
They don't know him by face now. All he knows that voice, that big, deep voice.
It was inside to Thomas across the 15-yard line. And the clock is running. And apparently Marv Levy with the ball so deep in his own end. Now it's going to be Denver that's going to call the timeout with 53 seconds left in the half.
Out of order.
Stairs.
You know what I could use? A Diet Dr. Pepper. Yeah!
Diet Dr. Pepper tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper. When you want one, there's no stopping the taste. With 100% NutraSweet.
Hey, help yourself!
NBC Sports coverage of the AFC Championship is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
Buffalo's high-octane attack has gone to regular, very regular, as the Denver defense has stopped them, holding Buffalo to 2 first downs, only 53 yards total in this first half. Thurman Thomas. This hit by Dennis Smith, the other safety.
Smith, Dick. Did you see that? I mean, that's a la Ronnie Lott. Of course, both of them, Ronnie Lott and Dennis, played on the same USC football team. But listen. Oh, that's a hit.
That'll make your
that is a major hit. And according to Wade Phillips, he's gotten more of those this year than ever in his career. Now, that may mean brain damage or something. I don't know. But he's selling out, just selling out into that line of scrimmage. And we spoke of both safeties being the key factors, because when they hit, they stop it.
He's the oldest of the Denver defenders at 32. He had 5 interceptions, his career high this year. He's always forced a lot of fumbles because of hits like that. And I think he's pleased that he's finally playing safety. One of the reasons Dennis Smith, and his eyes are a little watery too after that hit. One of the reasons why Dennis Smith is so highly regarded around the league is he's a safety that has played really a cornerback. He's been asked to do a lot of man coverage on a wide receiver in his career because of his speed.
Yeah, in his early part of his career, yeah, he got banged a little there himself. Woo!
So it is.
But earlier in his career, he was having to play like the third corner. Now he's just a pure safety and is teeing off on people.
On 3rd and 1, Kenneth Davis hit by Mecklenburg, and Denver spends its 3rd time out. Randy Robbins was in there too, and with 38 seconds left in the half, Denver's going to get the ball again.
Steve Atwater that time, Dick, he came ripping into that thing. Boy, has Wade Phillips done a great job with this defense. Now you'll see Atwater coming from our side of the field, showing up right there, right into the middle of it. Now, when you can add a 210-pound safety to a linebacker or a lineman that's making a stop, now you've really got some, some power.
Well, you said at the very start, Bill, what intrigued you about the game was Thurman Thomas, the yardage leader in the NFL with his receiving and rushing yards, against the 2 safeties of Denver, and Smith and Atwater have answered the ring, haven't they? O.J. Simpson, his right hand is weary, but he's finished signing all autographs the rest of the half, and he's ready to go to work at the intermission. The 38 seconds, and of course enshrined here in the memories and permanently in Buffalo. Bill Lohr. Lohr's punt. Vance Johnson at the 41. And out of bounds at the 46, and a flag is down. They may have run into more. It's Lilo Lang.
Well, that'll give them a first down, I think. It's 4th and 4.
Oh, gee. Goodness, he barely touched him.
Oh, gee.
21, the 5-yard penalty.
No, that wouldn't be called 1 out of 20 times in
first down.
an NFL league game. Why that call was made, we would all wonder. No contact, no intent of injury, no attempt to damage. The punt's away.
So the Bills now with 29 seconds will be able to run out the clock, one would assume. They bring in Metzelars. That's an indication they're going to go to just give the ball and run. In fact, they have Andre Reed playing a safety position back at the 15. Listen to the fans in Buffalo. Some are disgruntled. They're used to a lot of points and lots to go with in that Kelly-directed offense, but Marv Levy wants them in the locker room to talk over how can we beat this Denver defense. Final seconds of the half. You see Ted Marchibroda in front of Levy, and a potential head coach in another week. He's one of the leading candidates for the Indianapolis Colts.
I'm really surprised, Dick, that they didn't go for the Hail Mary kind of pass down the field. I really am.
So the end of a half. Surprising indeed. High-scoring Buffalo held to a scoreless tie by Denver.
The National Football League is concerned about many of the problems that affect our youth. Drugs, malnutrition, and the quality of education that they receive. That's why the NFL, through NFL Charities, has joined other business leaders to support America 2000, a community-based voluntary effort to create a new generation of American schools. Commissioner Paul Tagliabue.
The people in our league are local and national leaders who want to see that today's students receive the best possible education. That's why NFL Charities is involved.
The Denver Broncos have worked in partnership with the public sector, private business, and local volunteers to help our children. We have recently been involved with Colorado 2000, a statewide strategy to transform our schools into the best in the world.
Improving our nation's schools and educating tomorrow's leaders. That's the task before us. I'm confident that NFL Charities can help achieve that goal.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
He's unpredictable. He's unbelievable. He's unleashed. He's the biggest name in America. Now you'll see what all the shouting is about in his first television special. Garth Brooks, Friday on NBC.
The guy in the new Infiniti just discovered something about his car and about himself. He just discovered that the 18-year-old adventurer who loved to drive never left. Seems he's just been snoozing for the last, 20 years. And his new Q45 just woke him up. Without acne. Infiniti. Makes you want to take up driving again, doesn't it?
Step 1, unroll barbed wire. And burn it. Taking care not to cut yourself on barbs. Step 2, attach wire to post. And burn it. Step 3, repeat procedure. All right. And burn it.
If it's out there, it's in here. The 9X Yellow Pages. Why would anyone need another?
Watch Goal to Go, the post-game show, today, immediately following the Bills game, only on Channel 2.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
And so, as they used to say around the old neighborhood, go figure. The Bills and Broncos play 30 minutes of football, a scoreless half. In last year's AFC Championship, the Bills led the Raiders by 41-3 at the half. So despite some missed opportunities with the 3 missed field goals, Denver is faring much better than that. Let's get halftime reports, beginning with O.J. on the Bills side. Juice?
Well, Bobby, I guess you can, you said it the best way you can say it, go figure. I spent the last 2 offensive series right on the Bills bench, listening to as the players came off the field. Each time the linemen were talking to one another, what did they do? Backs were saying, what happened? The Bills are totally confused. Whatever Denver is doing defensively, the Bills just haven't been able to adjust to it. They don't know exactly what it is. Everyone's saying, well, they're running basic defense. They're just playing good defense. James Lofton told me coming up to the tunnel, they're doing nothing special. They're just playing good defense. But it seems to be a lot of confusion, and you got to give the Broncos credit, and I think the Bills should feel lucky at this point. Will, what's happening on your side of
O.J., you're right in the numbers. I talked to 3 of the Broncos players. I asked Dennis Smith why you're having such great luck. He said 3 reasons, Will. Our pre-snap reads are great, which means their defensive coordinator, Wade Phillips, has done a great job looking at Buffalo during the week and figure out their different sets, what they will do out of those sets. He said, second, after the read, we're disguising our coverages. We're giving Kelly and those guys plenty of problems trying to figure out what we're going to do. And then we're playing hard and getting to the ball. I talked to David Treadwell, the kicker. He says, I'm just going to keep on kicking. I hit the ball well. The wind moved it a couple of times. I talked to nose tackle Greg Cragen. He says, we're right where we want to be. This is what we hope for. Now we feel we can win. Back to you, Bob.
All right, well, this is the first time all year long that Buffalo's been held scoreless in the first half and on their home field yet. And their offense has been so potent here at home. What is Denver doing?
Well, number one, Denver's defense hasn't had to play too much the first half. But in the first couple of series when Denver was on defense, Buffalo made a couple mental mistakes. They turned a couple of the Denver guys loose. Simon Fletcher had a real good sack here, you see right here. They just turn them loose. They don't account for them. And this kind of disrupted the Buffalo offense for the entire first quarter. They never did settle down, and they weren't able to sustain too much. But the main thing Denver's doing is they're mixing in the run blitzes on first down and hoping they catch either a run and play or a little play action pass from Kelly. And they're doing a pretty good job disrupting them right now.
All right, on the other hand, somebody could say, look, Buffalo comes in here an 11.5-point favorite. Denver gets some opportunities. Cragen made the great interception. They get 3 makeable field goals. Reasonable to assume they could have made 2 of those 3. They could be up 6-0, maybe 9-0. Do those blown opportunities haunt you when you're this big of an underdog?
Well, I think they might wind up haunting Denver, but I have to give credit to Buffalo's defense, too. Denver's had tremendous field position the whole first half, and Buffalo, somehow or another, the missed kicks, has been able to hold them out of the end zone. So Buffalo's defense is surviving pretty well also.
Before the first 2 missed kicks, there were sacks, one by Wright and one by Smith. They didn't take Denver out of field goal range, but they did make the field goal attempts by Treadwell longer.
No, but he had plenty of distance. He just missed the kick, hit the pole a couple of times. But Buffalo's got to feel pretty good about their chances, too.
All right, now up next, as we continue at halftime from Buffalo, we'll show you just how we settle the score in our season-long upset special selections. Will McDonough gets to live the good life as we come back after this.
When American drug agents landed in Colombia, they had one mission: to take out the world's most powerful cocaine cartel. This is the story of their war and their victory. Drug Wars, the Cocaine Cartel, on NBC next Sunday.
Has your bank been through a number of changes this year?
Have you thought of finding a better alternative? Well, at North Star, we have lots of them. Like our new investor account, the only account that gives you access to money market mutual funds with the convenience of instant ATM access through your checking account. And that's the kind of flexibility you need in today's changing market. And the only way to get it is by changing to North Star.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
All right, this is the moment a breathless nation has been waiting for. We picked upset specials all season long, as you know, and here are the final results. Other than one brief run at midseason, Parcells was never really in it. Will won the competition with a late blitz, and we promised that the winner would pretty much have the rest of us wait on him during the conference championship weekend, and to the victor goes the spoils.
Hello. Good morning, Mr. McDonough. This is your morning wake-up call.
6:30 already? Could you do me a favor? I put my order in with room service last night. Could you tell them to hurry it up and get it up here? I'm stopping. Thanks.
Room service. Come in. Good morning, Mr. McDonough. It's your hearty man breakfast, just like you ordered. There it is. Eggs over easy, sausage, bacon, hash browns. Lovely morning waffles.
Are these the Parcells waffles?
Well, he's been waffling all week, and we had him get up early to make them this morning. And, of course, as you like, a piping hot stack of flapjacks.
Very health-conscious breakfast. Where's the juice?
Well, here's the juice, a little freshly squeezed juice from California.
Jeez. This could have been you, baby.
Yeah,
if you paid attention to what I told you at the end, you could be sitting here. You could be Mr. Big today.
Yeah, I just sat on my hands.
Mr. Big? Oh, come on in. I've been waiting for you.
Your bath is drawn, Mr. McDonough. Roll.
Yeah.
Morning paper, sir.
Finally got a job, kid, huh?
Finally, yes.
Right at your own level. Good. You've been trying for a couple
I'm doing
of weeks.
well at it.
Nice to hear about it. Thanks again, fellas. It was easy, believe me.
Yeah. Well, make sure you eat it all. You might as well have it all. Okay.
Morning coffee?
Yeah.
It is 6:30. You may need this as a pick-me-up. A proud moment for each of us.
Bob, I forgot to give you guys a tip, and I'm going to give it a Bill. Bill, don't spend it all in one place, kid.
Thanks. We couldn't even get to the airport with this rig right here.
Well, at least we went to bat. At least we went to bat the last week of the season. You sat on your hands. That's like not playing the last game, going for a batting title.
Well, did you want to go to bat and lose, Juice? Because that's what you did.
I'd rather go to bat.
All right, I see the Denver Broncos just beneath us are coming down the tunnel, heading back to the field. A thought before they kick off for the third quarter.
Well, I think Denver would like to play just like they did the first half. And, their defense is very aggressive. Their offense certainly had enough opportunities. But, their kickers got to make some kicks or they got to get the ball in the end zone. I don't think they can hold Buffalo forever.
This is the dropped interception, potential interception, that Atwater could have had.
Yeah, but Denver's defense has been in position the whole first half, and they're not going to play any better than they did the first half. They need to score some points.
OJ?
I tell you what, for both teams, we're saying the weather's not a factor. It is a little blustery out there, and both quarterbacks, and of course you see with Treadwell, they're having trouble with that wind from time to time out there. The interesting thing is going to see what Ted Marchabroda says to his team because they're having a lot of problems out there. They don't know what's going on offensively.
Okay, we're going to send it back over to Dick Enberg and Bill Walsh for the call of the second half right after this message.
The world champion Bulls, the Detroit Pistons, Michael, Isaiah. Two Central Division powers renew a little friendly rivalry. Then Clyde, KJ, the Portland Trailblazers battle the Phoenix Suns in a Wild West shootout. An NBA doubleheader next Sunday.
Welcome back to the second half here at Rich Stadium. A stunning scoreless tie that certainly has some of these Buffalo Bills fans in shock. We weren't shocked when we read the news earlier this week that 15 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame included you, Bill, and I know you were very proud when you heard that announcement. Good luck to you.
Well, thank you very much.
And of course, also the fact that they could now rename the NFC Central the Walsh Division. 3 of your former coaches, White, Holmgren, and Green, are now coaching in the NFC Central.
Well rehearsed, Dick.
Now let's go to this game itself and the field goals, the 3 opportunities to score for Denver, as Treadwell first missed wide to the left from 47 yards, and then we'll see him, Bill, miss by hitting the upright on the right side, as he may have corrected himself too much. But your feeling is that the sack actually helped make this no good.
Well, if the ball's a bit off course, Dick, the further you remove yourself from the goalpost, the further the ball is going to move to the outside. So by those long field goals attempts, the ball moving off course just enough to miss it. So they've got to get in even closer now if they expect him to make it.
Any strategies at halftime?
I'll tell you, 0 to 0, the coaches are on the spot. They've got to come up with something offensively and defensively in both locker rooms, because you got 30 minutes to play, and what they had planned isn't working. They have to go to their playbook and to their plans.
All right, let's take a look now at the Keystone Light halftime statistics. And while neither team able to move the ball, Denver at least has gotten into field goal range with those 123 yards, resulting in the 3 misses from field goal range. And Buffalo actually one more